Can you deal with angry customers all the time?
Let's go.
Hey guys, welcome to my channel. How's everyone doing today? So, we're going out. We're going to go sparking today, maybe some DoorDash, hopefully. Right now, I'm traveling to Walmart, but I want to take a few minutes. I want to talk to you guys for a few seconds or so. So, if you don't mind. So, what's going on is, I've had some questions about if it's worth it to go full-time as a Spark driver. All right, so I'm part-time, okay? That's where I am. And I've got a full-time job. And my full-time job takes care of me pretty good. I'm only doing this for extra money, okay? So that means maybe I might do it 2 to 3 times, or 2 or 3 hours out of the day. And I might not do it every day. I might just do it once in a while. But I can tell you what I've seen. So I've put in a lot of mileage on my truck, a lot. I try to document it as much as I can. And what I do is, some people use the apps, some people use different things. I use a notepad and I write everything down. Let me try to find, and I'll just write down my mileage on it. And when I do that, I keep track of it for my taxes, if I can. So I went to go file my taxes, and I still haven't received my Spark tax forms yet, but I did get my DoorDash. So I went on DoorDash, or went on my tax, and talked to my tax person, and I was talking to him about doing my taxes and about doing DoorDash and things like that. And he told me, he said, okay, that's fine. He said, you know, give me the information, the mileage and all that stuff. I got the mileage, and then he said, prove it. So I'm not for sure how you're supposed to prove it unless you have an app, or unless you go back to DoorDash and just show all the times that you went out and the mileage and all that stuff. So we're still trying to figure that out. And on top of that, I'm still trying to figure out the Walmart Spark, because I haven't received any information yet on my taxes for that. Because you know that new rule now, you have to file anything that's 600 or more. So, which I haven't. A DoorDash last year, I didn't do DoorDash until I think around November, and I think I made like 700 and some bucks on it. It wasn't a lot, but I still have to file it. So just give you a heads up, there is that part of it. There is the taxes part. You have to make sure you take your taxes out. You have to make sure that you at least hold back 30%. At least I would hold back 30% of your money, because if not, they're going to ding you for that. So that's one part of being full-time. So if I was full-time, I would definitely get an app. I'd get like a solo app, or I'd get one of these other type of travel apps that they have out there. Another thing is, we're independent contractors, okay? So that means when you're an independent contractor, you work for yourself. Yes, we do jobs for Walmart or for Uber Eats or for DoorDash, but when it comes down to it, we work for ourselves. So we don't have insurance through that company. So that's one thing that I have through my work, my full-time job. I have insurance. I have a big family. I've got my wife, and then I've got 5 daughters. So I have to make sure that they have insurance. And then, so I have to make sure that I provide for them. So I'm not for sure if it would be beneficial for me to ever go full-time because of that. Now, later on when I retire, that might be a little different. But for right now, no. I personally, myself, could not afford to go full-time. This week, doing DoorDash, doing Walmart Spark for, like I said, 2 to 3 hours a day, maybe 3 or 4 times, I've made $145 for right now. I'm going out right now to make some money. So that's not too bad, especially with the incentives. And that's another thing. Okay, you can't always rely on the incentives. So I haven't seen an incentive from Spark for 2 days now. We had that banger one that was $3 for each delivery, remember? And then after that, it went to 0. I haven't seen any incentives. So that's another thing. You got insurance. You've got, it might not be a steady job. There is times where, you might not get anything, and you just might not. It depends on what your area, what your region is. Like here, like last night, I tried to go Doordash for Friday night, and Friday night you would think it'd be booming. It was not booming last night, people. That's the reason I didn't make a video. It was pretty slow. So just give you a heads up, you're gonna have to know what your area is. Can I go full time in this area? Is it worth it? How big is my family? Do I need insurance? Can I afford a new car, or at least a new used car, probably every couple of years? Because I can tell you, I've put on a lot of miles on my truck, and I'm just part-time, so I couldn't even imagine what full-timers do. So you have to watch your mileage, because if you don't watch your mileage, then after that you're going to tear up your cars. So if this was me, if I was going full-time, I would probably buy a beater car. To be honest with you, I'd probably buy me a cheap car, and then that's good on gas, and then drive it until it fell apart. That's what I would do. It's not practical to have a truck. Now, it's good to have a truck, because the reason why to have a truck, this is what I found out, you get a lot more bigger orders. So I get like the bedposts. I get like the big TV deals. I get, okay, so like on Roadie, if you have a big order that's like 300 pounds, you can't get that in a car, but I can get it in my truck, or I can put it on a trailer. That's the good thing about having a truck. But I can tell you the bad thing about it is I use a lot of gas. It's not fuel efficient, and and it's just what it is when it comes to a truck. It's not always the smoothest ride, but when you do drive through bad weather, you can usually go through that weather a lot better because you got a heavier vehicle. So that's what I would do. I'd probably, if I went full time, if I did, which I'm not going to, but if I did go full time, I would buy a fuel efficient car, and it would be cheap. One that I wouldn't care to get a new one every other year. So every 2 years, get a new used, nice, decent car, but enough to get you around. That's what I would do. Another thing that I've learned is people are just rude, just in general. I mean, you have to deal with some rude people. My personality type, I just laugh them off and just go on. But you got some really rude people out there. So can you deal with that every single day? Can you deal with rude people that you don't know what's going to happen with them, and how they're going to act, and how they're going to treat you on a daily basis? Okay, so like this is a prime example of one. Yesterday, I did have a spark delivery. I had to drop it off at a med center, right? It was one of those flash drives. That's all it was. Easy. I was thinking $20. I was thinking banger. $20. I was gonna put my hat on and everything for you people. $20 down the road. So I get there, right? And I get up to the receptionist, and I'm like, hey, I've got a drop off for so and so. And she's like, okay. She said, give me a minute, and I'll get, and I'll let you know, blah blah, and I'll get her. So okay. So I sit in there probably, I don't know, 3 minutes. Okay, it's not that bad. I'm thinking 3 minutes for $20 or whatever, or even 10 minutes for $20. I'm fine. You gotta think this was a shopping one too, but it was very simple. So I get up there, and I'm waiting. And I'm waiting, and I'm waiting. She comes back, and she says, oh yeah, she's fine. She said I could just take it for her. Like, okay. So I look down at my screen, and I'm like, oh, I need a passcode. And she's like, okay, all right. Well, I'll just take it. I said, no, I need a passcode first before I can give it to you. And you know how Walmart is with these passcodes. They don't play around. So I'm like, oh, she's like, okay. So she goes back, and she gets the passcode from the lady. Okay. She comes back, and she tells me the passcode. I put it in, and I'm like, very first time, one time. And it goes, wrong passcode, return back to the store. One time wrong. I said, what? I said, it's telling me to return this. And she's like, well, okay. She goes, maybe I gave you the wrong passcode. And I said, oh, you gave me the wrong passcode. I said, it says ask me to return it. And I really don't want to return this because I'm already here and it's only one item. So she's like, okay. So the lady comes up who was getting the flash drive. And she's like, well, can't I just have it? And I said, no. I said, it's telling me to return it. So let me call customer service and I'll see what they say. So I call customer service and he's like, hey, that's fine if they're there. I just need to take a picture with the item and with the person who's getting it. And I was like, I don't know about this. This is the first time I ever had to deal with this passcode thing, like to where I had to take a picture, because usually I just return it. And so I tell her, and she's like, I'm not taking my picture with it. And I told her, I said, I don't blame you, I wouldn't either. And she's like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. And the guy's like, well, I need her picture in it. I need to know she has it. And I said, I'm telling you, man, she's not going to take her picture in it. And I don't understand this because I thought it was policy not to take pictures of these people. And he's like, well, I need it for proof. And I said, well, can I just take a picture of the item on the desk? And he's like, no, the person needs to be in it. So the girl that told me the wrong digit code, she said, I'll do it. I said, okay. So I just took a picture of the item and just her holding it in her hand. Nothing else, nothing her face, not her body, nothing like that. Just her hand. And I told him, I said, thank you. I said, just go ahead and just keep it. I said, if I have to, I'll pay for it. I said, because I'm not returning it. That's dumb. I'm not returning this all the way to Walmart just because of the fact that there was a messed up code. And she's like, okay. So I'm still on the phone. I go back out to my truck to talk to him because I'm not getting paid unless this is shown either returned or proof. So long story short, he asked me to go through this whole thing with this app. It took me, I'm not joking, I still had another order in the back that I shopped for. It took me a half an hour just to go through the app stuff with him. And he's like, to get the picture. And it still wouldn't show me to where I can send him a picture. And so he told me, he was like, which he could have just done originally. He told me, he goes, well, just send me an email with the picture and with the purchase code. I said, couldn't we have just done that to begin with? Literally could have done that to begin with. So I sent him the email and he pushed it through. That's how fast it took. I'm not joking. Once I sent him the email and he saw the email, saw the picture, it was within 10 seconds I was on my next schedule, my next scheduled drop. But I could not pass so. Can you deal with angry customers all the time? You never know. Past that screen until he pushed it to say I could go to the next drop. So just remember that. Make sure that passcode is right, because I'm telling you, it was the very first time, the very first code I put in, and I was like, what in the world? Are you kidding me, people? Has anybody else had this issue? Has anybody else went through this passcode thing? Because I can tell you right now, it's a pain in the butt. I mean, I'll do it. I'll do it. But for now on, I'm probably going to have to see the screen or have to make sure that it's correct before I push it. Because I can't not deal. I'm wasting money. I'm wasting money and I'm wasting time. Because of the fact that I had to sit there and wait forever. And when I could have been on my drop and could have been heading home or could have been doing another drop. So basically, that $20 or $25, whatever it was, I can't remember. It took almost an hour just because of the fact that the passcode was wrong. So, can you deal with that? Is that something you could deal with being a full-time driver? Me personally, I don't know if I can. I kind of like my job. I deal with people on my job all day. I deal with people all the time and have to deal with their issues. But I feel like I'm solving something. And that's my personality type. My personality type is I got to solve things. And I'm dealing with customers that are cussing me out, the app's wrong, that are yelling at me, showing that mad at me. DoorDash, I've got a batch order, and it's showing me going a different direction than their house. Then they call me, they get mad at me, and I'm like, hey, I'm just doing what DoorDash is telling me to do on this app. Does anybody else go through that issue too? There's another story. I'll tell you that story later. So it'd be later down the ride. That was an interesting one for DoorDash. So my question is for you for today. Were you thinking about going full-time? If you are thinking about going full-time, what's your plan? You got to have a plan. Can you afford it? Is your area good enough? Is it strong enough? Is it keep you busy to where you can do it? And also, that's the thought of the day. If I get any orders, you can ride along with me. All right? I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Let's go.